Welcome to Peter and Roughie's Football Show, the only daily football programme on STV Edinburgh and STV Glasgow. At the main talking points tonight, Scott Allan says it was a no-brainer signing for Celtic, stepping up a league and with a chance to play European football. Brad Mackay of St Johnstone faces an SFA ban. Rangers hit 5 past Alloa and go top of the Championship. And we'll look at the fixtures in the Petrofac Training Cup taking place on Tuesday and Wednesday evening. Alan Rough and Gordon Smith are with me here in the studio. Delighted to have your company. Well, never a day goes by when we don't talk about Scott Allan. So he's got the Celtic jersey on. He'll wear the number 19. The fans gave him a great welcome at the weekend. And now, from his point of view, he reckons he has to look after his own interests, and he's got the full support of his family, and now it's all about trying to get a game for Celtic. Roughie?
Yeah, I think that's what it's all about, you know, trying to break into that team. He's got a 4-year deal. By listening to him, it looks as if he believes in his own ability. He believes that he can add something to the team. I think he'll have to wait. I think his games will be very sparing, but I think he's got the ability. I mean, given the chance in a Celtic team playing attacking football, I think he could be a good player, and I think he's a kind of player that the fans would want to see. We keep on saying, you know, that Celtic have never had that kind of player for a long, long time, and given the chance, he might step up his game.
I mentioned at the weekend, Gordon, I don't think anybody really cares who he supports. He's just got to go as a professional footballer, go and do his job. And having watched him on numerous occasions last season, I think he has a real chance of becoming a regular fixture in that Celtic side. He's got so much talent.
He's a very talented player, but he's stepping up, and we need to see if he fits in. He'll have better players around about him too. And he's a creative player, so I think that if he gets his chance, it remains to be seen whether he will fit in. But I hope he does. I think he will, because, as I say, he has got talent. I think he's saying the right things too. I mean, let's be honest. He's made a big decision. He had to decide whether it was right for him. He has decided this is the right career move, and he's saying the right things. I mean, you've got to sell yourself to the Celtic fans. I'm delighted with it. I can't. You know, it's a no-brainer. Easy decision to make, and he's hoping to do well. He's a confident lad, I think, and I think Ronnie Dyler has more or less been saying, you know, he's not going to start immediately, but he'll get a chance at some stage, and when he gets his chance, he has to take it. Yeah,
absolutely. We wish him well here on the Football Show. We had him as a guest on last season's programme, and certainly hope he fits in and goes on to greater success. As far as the weekend, Roughie, 23 goals. We loved it on Saturday afternoon's programme at 2 o'clock because we get goals, 23 of them in the Premiership. And if you have a look at the results here from the weekend, there were certainly more than a few startling performances, and the one that screams out, and I think we should be very positive about them, Hamilton Accies 4-0 against Dundee United. They deserve great credit, Martin Canning's side. They went about it, set about their job, got all 3 points, and scored a good few goals into the bargain. I think it's probably better we talk about Accies first rather than the negativity that's surrounding Dundee United.
Yeah, you're right. All credit to Hamilton Accies. You know, I don't think anybody saw that score. It was a good display, but as you said, Dundee United had a lot to do with that. But in all fairness, I thought Ali Crawford, again, we spoke about him on Saturday. I thought he had a great game. I think he was everything that we spoke about that top clubs should be looking for, and he topped it off with a very, very good goal, and he was very, very pivotal in everything Hamilton done.
Yep, I think that's the type of result, Gordon, that Martin will be looking for the club to now build on, because, you know, including a number of us on this programme, we have them in relegation trouble at the back end. We certainly didn't see a 4-0 win coming.
No, it was a surprise. It was a shock of the day, but you've got to give them a lot of credit. I mean, Martin Canning had said that, you know, they thoroughly deserved it. I mean, we can be negative about Dundee United because obviously you're expecting a lot more from United, but they just didn't turn up on Saturday. But having said that, you only play as well as you're allowed to. Hamilton Accies, you know, play well on their pitch. Ali Crawford is an outstanding young player, no doubt about it. He's a really creative player, can score goals and make goals. So I think Hamilton will be delighted with that. You know, they'd started off, they hadn't scored until Saturday, you know, the 2 games they played. So that was great for them to get, you know, on the score sheet and get 4 as well. So I think that, Martin Canning, he's had a hard time since he went there. He took over because he had to take over from Alec Neil, who was so successful. And it was hard because he lost his goal scorers as well, 2 of them, and it was hard to get the team going in his own way. So maybe this is just a little turnaround that's required for him now.
Yep. Of the other results, I've got to mention Hearts, Roughie, because that was a tough shift for them up there at Dingwall. In the end, they got a 2-1 win over Ross County, and of course, Robbie Nielsen again has set another wee record, 4 consecutive wins. He wants to distance himself from any comparisons with George Burley's team, because this is a far younger side.
Yeah, it is. And again, you can't take anything away from them. It's 4 wins. Again, it was a win at the weekend there. But again, looking at the highlights, Ross County had chances. But everything's going well for Hearts just now. They're getting the wee breaks when they need them. Sometimes you need that. But I was encouraged by Ross County. But again, the Hearts players, the more wins they get, the more confidence they'll get. And I'm sure they'll want to stay there.
Yeah, we talked about it on Saturday that what Hearts have is a winning mentality now. I mean, they came through the division with that last season, and they're maintaining that. And Robbie Nielsen is obviously a talented manager. There's no doubt about it. He knows the game, coaching-wise, and he's had a good career as a player, and now he's doing that as a manager too. They maybe not keep theirs going, but I think a fantastic start.
Yeah, absolutely. And just one little side issue relating to Hearts. Obviously, Brad Mackay faces an SFA charge, Gordon, because he came out with a statement regarding Juanma, saying a typical foreigner. This was, of course, regarding the match where they lost 4-3 and they were involved in a little altercation with diving.
Yes, I think that he was wrong to do that, because it's the type of thing that you can't say that. You can't, it's seen as a racist comment to say foreigners do this or whatever. So you can't generalise in that respect. So he has made a mistake. I'm sure he will apologise for it. But obviously they want to take him and do something about it.
Yeah, absolutely. But nevertheless, Hearts get the win, Roughie. As far as the rest of it, what about the Jags for you? 2-2 in the end.
Yeah, again, saw the highlights, had chances to put that game to bed on numerous occasions. Wee boy Doolan had 2 or 3 chances, but again, just didn't have the ability to see the game out. But although going down to 10 men, I felt sorry for the big boy at the back, a young player who's going to be a big player for the future, but I'm sure he'll come back even stronger with that. But you could tell by Alan Archibald's, he's just trying to get his head round why they're not good enough to see out games.
Yeah, absolutely. And of the last one, I think Derek McInnes has come out over the last day or so and just paid tribute to the Aberdeen fans who travel in great numbers at the moment because they want to see a winning side, and they are witnessing an Aberdeen side that got a good away victory against Motherwell. Yeah,
again, I saw this similar to the Ross County game. Motherwell had chances as well, but obviously when Aberdeen got in front, they had the players with the ability and the pace, to see the game out, just the exact opposite for Partick Thistle. But again, you're right, when you've got a good support like that going away from home, it gives you the encouragement to win games. And certainly if you can go on a run going away from home and winning games, whether it's good or bad, you still take the 3 points.
Yeah, 5 goals in the Championship for Rangers yesterday. Watch the goals. Again, confidence boost for Mark Warburton's side. Momentum is key this season. I have to say, though, of the results that are there, I think Rangers, got 5 goals. Alloa's defending at times was sloppy, Gordon.
Yeah, it was sloppy defending to an extent, but I thought, watching it, I thought Rangers played a very good passing game.
Yeah.
A lot of movement, a lot of one-touch stuff, looked very sharp. And, as I say, you can only play as well as your opponents allow you to at times, and Rangers created real openers, and they took their chances well. To go to Alloa and win so comfortably, I think Alloa will struggle. I do see them as relegation candidates in that league.
Yeah.
But Rangers have had a good start, and the next game they've got now is Hibernian next weekend. So, to start so well, scoring goals, that's they've been quite comfortable in say the 3 games. I think it's 14 goals or something like that in the last 3 games, which is pretty convincing from Rangers. And they look as if they're playing good football, and all the fans are delighted with how they're playing.
The person I think is going to benefiting from the style of play is Kenny Miller.
Yeah.
How many times did we see Kenny Miller 4 or 5 yards out for the box last year. Not very many, and now he knows the players round about him. He knows he can read the game. He can read where the ball is, and he's just got 2 tap-ins. Which is good for a striker.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be an absolutely fantastic match, head-to-head, with the 2 teams that many believe will be contesting the championship this season. It'll be Hibs against Rangers to look forward to. Of course, there are a number of games taking place in the Petrofac Training Cup. We'll discuss that. We'll also look at some of the other news headlines, some of the other results from the weekend, including, of course, the Barclays Premier League as well, and Jose Mourinho never too far away from our thoughts. Welcome back to Peter and Roughie's Football Show. Alan Rough and Gordon Smith are with me, Peter Martin. Monday night, of course, the main headlines, if you have just joined us, Scott Allan says it was a no-brainer to sign for Celtic with the chance to play European football as well as stepping up a league. Rangers hit 5 past Alloa, although Gordon Smith, one of the funny things about our game, you get Nathan Odua producing an audacious little bit of skill, and one Alloa player coming out and saying he wasn't too happy with it. He felt as if he was maybe disrespectful, to put it another way. I paraphrased it, to be honest with you, Gordon, so we can get it on air. But nevertheless, I think we should applaud people who do, come up with little bits of skill.
I know, but it's skill in terms of being creative. But when you do something like that, it does cause a problem. It definitely does, because it's not something that's seen as part of the game. That's just doing a trick. That's just trying to take the mickey out of somebody by doing that, and that's why there's been a reaction to it. It's great to see it, but I know players don't like it.
Yes, I can understand where Gordon's coming from, Roughie. I can actually recall more than a few players who have mentioned to me that when it happens, the immediate thought in their head is, I'll hang on a couple of minutes and stiffen the person.
I think one of the well-known ones is the Roy Keane one, where he waited and got the boy in a tackle, and he waited 2 seasons.
Alpha Inga Haaland.
But I think the boy showed a bit of skill. I can see where Gordon's coming from, that some people would take offence to it, but I thought the boy looked good. I thought he was waltzing by people, he had a wee trick, and as you say, they're here to be entertained, and I can see why players would think, I just take the mickey here, but
it's entertaining. But the question would be then, is because he's rubbing it in, he's rubbing salt in the wounds to a degree, because what they'll say is, would he do that if they were 2-1 down? Would he try that? Probably not.
Well, probably not. But I once actually saw Ronaldinho make a pass with his back, and I thought to myself, okay, it's not the type of thing you learn in training, but these are the things that people come to matches and say, they go home, and if you win 5-1, they go home and say, what about that bit of skill? I can remember Lubomir Moravcik trapped the ball with his back end. Nobody talked about the fact Celtic defeated Hearts. They talked about how, and at what point do you think, Gordon, when you're out with your mates outside, right, let's practice trapping the ball with our backside.
Even to take it really further, taking the mickey is Jim Baxter sitting on the ball at Wembley against England. That is taking the mickey.
What he was trying to do was wind up people, wasn't it? That wasn't a bit of skill. That was just to say, look, we're rubbing it in here. And I think that's where the Alaba boy was on what happened there. It was he was rubbing it in, wasn't he?
Well, in the Championship, one of the guys that didn't have to rub it in, he just had to prove a point. He came on as a substitute just before the hour, Jason Cummings, and I think it was his first touch of the ball, Roughie, gave Hibs the victory over Morton. Yeah,
it was a good delivery and a good finish. Typical striker's finish, quicker feet, just put his foot in there and right into the back of the net. And I don't think Alan Stubbs has got a problem with him. We've met the boy. We know he's he's a Jack the lad in the dressing room, and somebody like that, outwardly is very confident. But I think when things aren't going well for you, you're no different for anybody else. If you're not scoring goals, you've got to find a way. That might just be the making of him. You know, him coming out, you know, and not being the regular goal scorer. Now he's got to prove himself again. It might just maybe sort his head out a wee bit.
Yeah, and it would be remiss of me, guys, not to mention Stevie Aitken. We had him as a guest on the programme, but what about Dumbarton? That was a great result at the weekend.
Absolutely. I mean, 2 now. I mean, to win their first game against Aberdeen, who are one of the favourites for promotion, and then one of the other teams have just been relegated, St Mirren, who are also in the mix for promotion, and win away against them. I think it's tremendous start for Dumbarton. It puts them right in there. I mean, it's going to be an interesting championship for sure. I mean, I agree with Des to an extent what he said in the weekend. Des McEwen said he thinks Rangers will win it comfortably, and I do too. I think Rangers will win it comfortably, but below that, then there's going to be a real fight for places. And now, when you consider if he continues this sort of form with Dumbarton, they'll be in the mix.
Yeah, and you mentioned there about Rangers. They're a totally different side this season. They have a Petrofac Training Cup match this week against Ayr United. I wonder if Mark Warburton will be thinking competitions like the Petrofac Roughie, you know, want to go and try and get that first piece of silverware again to try and build that momentum.
He will. I don't think he'll experiment at all. You know, he want to keep the players on fire. They want to keep them scoring goals. They want to keep all the fans behind them. And I think they'll go there. I think they'll get a test with Ian McCall's side. I think they got back on the rails at the weekend there. So it's a good atmosphere down at Somerset. I think it'll be full. But you're right, you know, as a new manager, I don't think I mean, we all sort of didn't take the Petrofac seriously. A new manager in there, if he's got a cup in his hands early in the season, it just helps him get on the right side of the fans.
Yeah, OK, if I'm going to pick of the fixtures that are taking place tomorrow night, one that might provide a shock, we've got Annan against St Mirren, Falkirk, Peterhead, Forford and Fairmont, Queen of the South, Livingston, Queen's Park, Dumbarton, Stenhousemuir, Raith Rovers, and of course the aforementioned Ayr United, Rangers and Alloa against Elgin on the Wednesday. I'm going to pick Annan at home to St Mirren, because if St Mirren have to go through the gears, they better move quickly. I still think they're in neutral at the moment. I haven't seen anything at the moment to suggest that they're responding to what Ian Murray wants.
Well, that would definitely be the shock. There's no doubt about it. You know, St Mirren, new manager, new players, you would expect them to come in there and be better than what they were last year. So I think if Annan were to go put them out of the cup, it would be a bit of a setback for them.
Yeah, I think they would be worried about that. The fans would be reacting to it if they went out as well. They'd be a bit disappointed. I think already they begin to be a bit worried about it because of the 2 defeats in 2 games, albeit one of them was against Rangers. But at the end of the day, losing at home to Dumbarton, who are not a team that were considered for promotion, they'd be a bit worried about that. And it'd be interesting to see Dumbarton also are going to Queen's Park. That'll be an interesting game too, to see how they react to playing at Hampden, because I'm sure they'll enjoy that.
Yeah, I don't want to miss out on talking, of course, about the Premier League down south, but just one little thing that caught my eye in the newspapers over the last couple of days. Is Jackie McNamara under pressure at Dundee United, Roughie? I think it's so early in the season that this is knee-jerk reaction stuff.
I would think he might have been under pressure of if the 3 players leaving had nothing to do with him. You know, the money situation in the club has nothing to do with him. You know, he's obviously got a different budget, which has nothing to do with him. So in the light of everything like that and what he's had to put up with since the 3 players left, I think you've got to give him a bit of slack. But there's no doubt about it. I think it was Gordon, what was it, 4 wins in 22 or something like that?
Well, they did 18, their final 18 games this season, last season, they did 12 defeats and 3 wins and 3 draws. And they've started this season already with 1 win, 2 defeats and a draw.
But what I'm saying is, if you'd taken everything I'd said there out of the equation, and that record, he would struggle.
I think that's what it is. I think that's the reaction, Peter, that the fans are not happy. They think the team has gone back the way, and you know, he made some signings and they thought they would get things going, but it hasn't really worked out so far.
And the nature of football, lads, you know, it's almost one day to the next. We have one resolute opinion and then we change our minds. All 3 of us have gone for Chelsea to win the Barclays Premier League. But boy, Manchester City dismantled them yesterday.
Yeah, they certainly did. And I thought the wee boy Silva was absolutely magnificent. And obviously Aguero could have had a hat-trick in the first 20 minutes. Man City are no different from any of the other teams when they're in full flow. They're a hard one to beat, there's no doubt about it. I think the talking point obviously is John Henry. Terry getting taken off.
Who's John Henry?
He's a young boy getting taken off, and everything that went with that. You know, I mean, he did look so.
Listen, this is the guy a month ago, Roughie, they were talking about. It was world class still. Had to be in the England squad.
Yeah, he looked as if things had caught up in him the other day. Everybody seemed to have more pace round about him, and it's a big decision. And I'm sure there would have been something said at half time.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I think that, looking at it, seemingly he was also having one or two little arguments with players as well on the touchline. Mourinho was having words and exchanging views, and the fact is, if you leave somebody like Terry, who's your major player, out, if you stop playing him, then you get little factions in the dressing room that can cause problems, and that would be the big problem for Jose Mourinho if that happened. You've seen it yourself.
Yeah.
He needs to keep people like John Terry on board because they carry the whole squad with them. So it's been a bad start for Chelsea.
Yeah, I thought the funniest bit was when the two Chelsea players got injured.
Yes,
and they had somebody getting treatment down there, and they looked to the Man City bench for their doctor to go in, and the boy went, "No way, I'm not going anywhere."
I think the Manchester City fans had the song of the weekend as well when the doctor went on, "You're getting sacked in the morning." Kind of summed it up, and it probably wasn't lost on Jose Mourinho, the hullabaloo over the backroom staff. Anyway, join us if you can again on STV Edinburgh and STV Glasgow, Monday to Friday. We talk football. Gordon Smith joined Alan Ruff and myself, Peter Martin, tonight. If you get a chance, join us on a Saturday as well. 2 till 6, we cover all the football right across all the divisions as well. So it's all about football, north and south of the border, but with the emphasis on Scottish football. Thanks for watching tonight. See you again tomorrow.